welcome back to my new channel called Living with One Hand. Wait, that is what it's called, right? I think that's what it's called. Really professional, Grace. Today's video is going to be all about prosthetic limbs and why I do not wear one. Obviously, this is coming from like my parents and other people talking, and to be fair, it's not a usual conversation that we have, so some of the facts may not be totally correct, but this is what I can remember talking about with my family. It's not every day that we really discuss prosthetics. I probably should have spoken to her before I filmed this video, my mum that is, but I didn't. So I had one when I was a baby. I had like what looked like a baby doll's arm, I'd say, you know, like baby born or something like that. It literally looked like that but bigger. It didn't look very realistic. It was very much just like a plastic prop that kind of went onto my arm, and I think I wore it to like help me do things, crawl and stuff. I think they told my mum that I should get used to using it when I'm younger, so it's easier to use when I'm older. Safe to say that I didn't get on with it from then. At one point, I think my mum said that I like threw it in a supermarket and just threw it off because I didn't want to wear it. And to be honest, can you blame me? Like, who wants to wear a bit of like plastic at the bottom of their arm that literally does nothing? The only way I can describe it is like you're holding a ruler with this hand and then you're trying to do things. Like, it doesn't help, it just stops you, in my opinion, it just stopped me from being able to do the things that I wanted to do. So I didn't get on with it. My parents obviously decided that it was probably for the best. It was obvious that I didn't want to wear it, and so I didn't wear one. I did, however, make the choice to get one, I think when I was in year 3. I just fancied getting one. Honestly, have no idea why now, because I was quite young. I was a young child in primary school. But I got it, and it actually moved, so that was quite cool. So I would like twitch my arm like this, and it would go like that, open and close. I actually think I just got it for like a little bit of attention, like show and tell in primary school, because that's exactly what I did. I just showed people, look, I can take my arm on and off. Look what I can do. I can actually remember like pulling back the silicone bit. Is it silicone? What looks like the skin, or is the skin, back on the hand to like freak people out. I was that child, guys. In my eyes, I stood out anyway, so if I did any other weird things, you know, no one really cared. I thought that the opening and closing would have helped me in some way. And actually, when I had it fitted at Roehampton Hospital, they showed me things that it could do. Like, they would encourage me to like cut paper and do stuff with it. But honestly, the grip was so bad that like it wouldn't even hold onto the paper very well. And it was so much harder to like hold it with a prosthetic hand, like the paper, and then me cut it like that, when I could just have the prosthetic limb gone, put it between my knee and my hand and cut the piece of paper. Here I obviously meant in between the knee and my arm. I'm not in denial, guys. I'm very aware that I haven't got a right hand, I promise. Like, that was so much quicker and so much easier for me. So I kind of didn't really use it at all. It probably lasted a week. So then it went on again, and I just didn't have one for years and years and years and years and years, until I think I got into secondary school. It must have been like the end of secondary school, and I was acting, and I thought that it might be a good idea to get one in case I needed it for a role when I was acting. And also, I just thought I might as well have one. If I can have a fake limb, why wouldn't I have one? I don't know, probably because it's really uncomfy and I don't use it. This one was very realistic. You could paint its nails, it had freckles, it had the same skin tone as my hand. This was pretty incredible, and it didn't move or anything, it was just to like look the part. But for once I actually thought I can see why people have these, like it looked very realistic. I think I used it at Halloween once. I also used it when I auditioned for Fright Nights in Thorpe Park, which is a theme park near where I used to live, and Fright Nights are like horror mazes at Halloween. I actually auditioned for that and I got the role, and what I did was I wore the prosthetic limb. I didn't tell anyone that I had one hand and I was wearing the prosthetic limb, and then when it came to my audition I bit my hand off and pulled it off, and it freaked quite a few people out, and that was my role in Fright Nights. I didn't wear the prosthetic limb because it was way too expensive to get all bloody and dirty. I didn't pay for it though, the NHS did, but it was a cool, I think it was a cool audition, personally, if I do say so myself. Since I was, was I like 17, 18 then? Maybe. Since then, I probably haven't worn a prosthetic limb, apart from putting it on the odd time. It actually lies under my bed at my parents' house. I have, however, worn some cool limbs. So I've got one that I wore for the New York Times, and I wear it to a few film premieres made by the Alternative Limb Project. I've also worn an arm for Open Bionics before, and I went to Singapore with them and did some really cool things with them. So I've experienced a lot of like the cool looking arms, but this video is really about prosthetic limbs and why I don't wear one. You probably already know by listening to the videos so far why I don't wear one. But I think the main thing that I wanted to say is that I feel like if I was forced to wear a prosthetic limb from a young age, I probably wouldn't be the person I was now. I couldn't think of really anything worse than me getting up in the morning and thinking that I had to like hide a limb or hide my arm or feel like I had to put something on to feel like me. And it's coming from a place of someone with like a missing hand. I feel like maybe if I had missing legs it would be a whole different factor. But for me, I don't really feel like I need it. So I do feel like if I was made to wear it, and if I did wear it for the whole of my life, I'd be a very different person. I don't think I'd be as outgoing. I don't think I'd be as confident. I think I would care a lot more about people looking at me. I would be a bit paranoid, I reckon, that people would be looking at my arm, even though they probably aren't. I think I'd feel a bit weird when I went to like parties and things like that. Whereas, because I'm so used to my difference being out there, there's kind of nothing else to care about when I'm meeting people. Like who cares if I'm wearing like a funky outfit and everyone's wearing all black? Because if anyone's going to look at anything, it's probably going to be my arm. Although, as I've grown up, you realise actually people half the time don't notice my arm. For instance, I met Ryan, my partner, who's now my husband. I met him on Tinder, the dating app, and I was worried that whether he knew that I had one hand or not because it was going to make me feel awkward, but I was worried that he might feel a bit awkward, like going for a handshake and there's no hand there or something. And it turns out that he didn't care. He didn't even notice. Literally didn't notice in the photos. He didn't obviously care because, I mean, I'd hope he didn't care. But it turns out that he didn't even notice in the photos. It was just me thinking about it. And that's kind of most of the time, really, and the majority of the time. It's me just assuming that people have noticed when they haven't. So really the reason I don't wear prosthetic limbs is because I don't feel like I need to hide the fact that I'm different. I don't feel like it helps me in any way. And also, I've had a lot of people ask me that, what if you don't know what lies in the future? What if you could have a hand transplant and stuff? Like, I honestly really like having one hand. I feel like it's me. I like my arm. I like the feeling of it. I like it when I'm walking with Ryan and Ryan's holding my arm rather than my hand. I like that occasionally people look at me tying my shoelaces on the tube and think, oh, she's not going to be able to do that, and then think, oh, bam, she can do that. I like the fact that I'm different, and there's very few people in the world like me. I mean, more than you'd assume, but very few people. I like it. And I don't want to wear a prosthetic limb to hide it, and I don't feel like I need one to do anything at all. There is one thing though that I will point out. My mum was told years ago that if I wore a prosthetic limb it would stop my back from getting sore because basically if I'm going to push something I always go like that, so my shoulder always comes forward and it means my back's unbalanced. And I will say, because I don't wear a prosthetic limb, I do get a really bad back. But that's life, isn't it? People get bad backs when they're working in the office, so I'll get through it. I'm going to the gym now to try and sort that one out. Now, this is no diss to anyone that does wear one. It's like your own choice. It's everyone's own choice. That's the whole point of this. But I just thought I'd give my opinion and tell my story about why I don't and why I don't feel like everyone should be forced into wearing one when you're younger. Thanks very much for watching. If you've got any ideas for my next video, comment them down below. Over and out. Bye.